An 18-year-old woman is found dead under her own cruise ship bed, and now her 16-year-old stepbrother is officially named a suspect, hospitalized after the incident, and accused of an obsessive fixation their ex-boyfriend says was completely ignored. And that is just the beginning. What was happening inside the Kepner family, and who failed Anna Kepner?
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning journalist, Joel Waldman.
What's up, SGS Nation? Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. This is the global phenomenon, the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime, from Subotica, Serbia, to Namibia, to the Kingdom of Lesotho, to the Republic of Ireland, to Newark, New Jersey. We've got all corners of the globe covered here with STS Nation. Best guests, a better community. And tonight, this afternoon, wherever you are in this part of the world, don't forget Australia either, or New Zealand, and let us know where you're from today. 18-year-old cheerleader from Titusville, Florida. Her name's Anna Kepner. She boarded the Carnival Horizon for a family vacation and never walked off of that ship alive. It was actually big news here in Miami because that's where that cruise ship docked. And first of all, when I called Carm and said, hey, we're doing a show Friday, she said, absolutely not. It's my vacation. It's Thanksgiving. I said, you've been on vacation for the better part of 86 years. And then she said, oh, wait, I know that story. It was on Fox. When she says it was on Fox, she means WSVN here in Miami. She saw it. Carm checks out the 10 o'clock news. I think she's the last person remaining on planet Earth that watches the local news. But she nevertheless saw this story and said, okay, I'll do it. And that was the entire negotiation. Shout out to Janet Morris. In the last 36 hours of this story, some really major developments. I couldn't believe it because I actually looked very closely at this story Thursday afternoon, and today is Friday. But by Thursday evening, so much has changed. Number one, there was a family gathering on Thursday showing deep fractures and tension. The 16-year-old stepbrother now officially a suspect. That 16-year-old apparently was hospitalized after Anna's death. He also is reportedly now living with a third party. In other words, not the family, not either parent. Very disturbing allegations that he once climbed on top of Anna as she slept, according to this ex-boyfriend. We're going to get into that. And that he was obsessive about her. Court documents reveal that the family was imploding. Anna's own mother says she would have had to attend her own daughter's funeral in a disguise. So what is going on here? Also, add to the mix, Anna's father reportedly has a past sexually violent injunction tied to a 15-year-old babysitter. These are according to reports and allegations. And the FBI now is having to untangle this web of obsession, denial, parental chaos, and years of violence. And who better to discuss this than the matriarch of STS, the oldest true crime podcaster, at least biologically by age, the youngest at heart, and a one-time family therapist practicing, now still a licensed therapist, none other than my own beloved mother, Carm. Everyone, as we were preparing, I don't know if you guys tuned in last week, I had some choice words for a few people. I won't even mention their names today. Immediately following that show. By the way, I never think of what I'm going to talk about, and this is true, and I would take a lie detector on this. I don't think about what I'm going to talk about till the show is in motion. But last week, I had some choice words and maybe a couple of rants. Immediately following the show, the COE called and said, WTF, are you crazy? What are you doing? What is going on? It was a family intervention. People thought I was crazy. And then they realized It might have just been this. I'm not a coffee drinker. And right now, 5 minutes before the show started, I took a sip and I heard, what is that? What is that? What is that? Is that coffee again? Some mushroom-based coffee, and it's supposed to help with my cortisol, my lower belly fat. So I'm drinking it, and I'll continue to drink it. And I love my coffee. And Carm says,
And all the people who watch you, they have to suffer because you become progressively, as you drink the coffee, more and more manicky and out of it.
it's so good. And then I just crashed. Does everyone crash from coffee? I've never drank coffee in my entire life. I'm 56 years old. Never had. I mean, I've had here and there. Like I'll have like that candy from Dunkin' Donuts every once in a while, iced coffee. But I've never had coffee. Carmen, you used to be a huge coffee drinker.
So the last 15 years, I only drink decaf coffee. And I really, to me, it tastes like real coffee. And I enjoy it. I don't have mood swings and so forth.
As a kid, I remember Dad would always drink just straight up black coffee, and it tasted like literally something that you would kill rats with. But Dad's famous saying, and Carmen and I spent quite a bit of time this week working on Surviving the Psychiatrist. But what did Dad always say his favorite flavor was?
No flavor.
Bland. My favorite flavor is bland. He's an odd character. That guy. Was his birthday this week. May he rest in peace. And Carm, that brings me to one other thing, and then we're going to get into Anna Kepner. I saw a meme this week that said, your life will never, ever, ever be the same once your mother and father pass away. I'm sort of halfway there. I honestly don't know what to do if you're not here. You remember we had a neighbor, Ron Axelrod, albeit he had some issues. His mother was maybe 99. She passed away. They were our neighbors. He was kind of looked like John Candy a little bit. He wore pants up to his neckline. It wasn't 4 weeks after his mother died that he left the earth as well. And I think that might be me. I do not think I'm going to be able to make.
Joel, you can lament afterwards, but do me a favor, get to the topic. It makes me.
I'm being serious. So how will I ever
That's listen, definitely not.
Life is up and down, and I'm okay. But what do I do the moment that there's some sort of catastrophe?
Joel, let me tell you, here is the consolation, Joel. You may go first.
I hope you do. Look at Space Coast with the blunt answer. That's true. Look at Space Coast. Don't be such a wussy. But he used the P word. Joel, you have kids. That's true. I do have kids.
You see this shout out from your niece.
Oh yeah, I forgot I have kids. Everyone's yelling at me. You grow up and accept it. I mean, look.
You know what, Joel? The more you mention my demise, the more I think maybe unconsciously that doesn't sound so bad.
I sent Matt Broad. I do this every week now. He's one of my best friends, chief meteorologist.
Oh, no. I tell you right now, Joel, I'm talking over you because
I was at soccer practice yesterday, and I sent him. You could see grass as far as the eye could go, the ground, and I sent just a photo of the grass, like a really long shot. And I told Broad, we're going to be here for a very, very, very long time. Get used to it. But while we're here, let's enjoy. Okay, let's get into the story, Carm. We're going to go latest development into first development. But let me, here, I'm afraid to do this. I want to ask you your bird's eye view, but what you'll do is you'll give me every single granular piece of information to prove to everyone that you studied the story. Without doing that, tell me your overall view of the story.
I have to tell you something. I try to outdo you in facts. And yesterday I was reading up on this, and if this wouldn't be a very, very sad, tragic thing. By the way, parenthesis, I think we are having more and more horrible stories about children, and I don't know if we unconsciously pick out children, or there is more crime related to children. But we have the one in California, and now this 18-year-old beautiful girl who was found murdered. They never told us what did she have any lesions on her body, did anything happen, but I tried to read up on her family background, and don't worry, I will not reveal it, but it is the most, almost like if it wouldn't be a major tragedy, it would be comical because of all the enmeshed situations. In the end, you don't know who is the mother, who is the father, who is the stepmother, who is living with whom. It really needs to be sorted out eventually, so that people
Well,
will
Carm,
tell
so that brings me to an important question here. Thanksgiving is coming up, and I listen for some weird reason to Los Angeles Talk Radio. You can do that now with the internet. And
you
yesterday,
are going there, right?
yeah, and they had a segment on the holidays, and people called in, and it was amazing. One caller after the other. I haven't been for Thanksgiving since 1990. I can't stand my family. Next call. I'm doing anything and everything to avoid the holidays. I don't want to be around my family. One call after the next. Now you go on a cruise ship and you see this family. It's like a blended family with stepkids, and you probably think, oh, what a beautiful family. Is it a universal truth, Carm, in your opinion, and after your 40 plus years of sort of working, is it a universal truth that pretty much every family has a level of dysfunction, or are there normal families out there, quote unquote normal families?
They are in museums under glass.
Okay. Anna's family, let's dig into the details.
Oh my God, I'm an expert on this part.
Anna's family now, as of yesterday, was photographed together for the first time since her death. The atmosphere was described as incredibly tense, fractured, emotionally raw. And her mother says, I guess at this gathering, that in order to go to this funeral, she would have to literally be in a disguise. Only the grandmother and uncle are advocating publicly. That is the only one. So I guess the question is,
First of all, she was on the cruise with her stepmother and her natural father, who are now married. So keep this duo in mind. Her stepmother and her natural father are married.
Say that one more time. Stepfather and natural mother. Okay, yeah, that makes
sense. No, just the opposite. Stepmother and natural father. She was on the cruise with her stepmother, natural father, her stepmother's 16-year-old son, and another child, a younger child. There were 3 children and the 2 parents, but they were like glued together from different families.
Okay, so Rachel D., our good friend from Detroit, Michigan, I believe, who is now in San Diego, is asking for a quick recap. So the timeline, she's on this cruise. I don't have the dates right in front of me, but she's at, out and about. She returns to her cabin feeling sick. She has brothers staying with her, a biological brother, and I believe the stepbrother in question. The younger brother
No. Sorry, no. She gets sick at dinner and excuses herself and goes to the room, and she's sharing on the cruise a room with her 16-year-old. She's 18. She's sharing a room with her stepbrother and another child, and I confess I don't know.
That's her, and it's her younger brother,
but not that. That's also not.
The younger brother leaves. He was taking pictures and wants to leave the cabin to take pictures. Now, the stepbrother who's staying with her, who's in question, he stays behind. The younger brother returns and assumes that Anna is out and about because she's not in the room, and he goes to sleep. And it's the next morning, I believe, that he finds out that Anna is no longer with us. She is underneath her own bed, covered partially by blankets and also life jackets. So it was some kind of crude attempt to cover up the body. So that's essentially what you need to know
Now,
here.
by
And
the way, when she didn't show up for breakfast, they started to look for her feverishly, and that's when they couldn't find her anywhere on the ship. The ship was coming back to Miami, and a cleaning service found her.
so it's her biological brother, full brother, and then a stepbrother. And you see here little Ashlyn saying she should not be sharing her room with her stepbrother ever, never, never. That is true. Carm, this is a little bit of a digression, and I'm going to get us back on track. But what kind of therapy is this brother, the natural brother, going to have, knowing that knowing, not at the time, but now knowing that he slept all night next to his deceased sister who was underneath the bed? Is this going to require some serious therapy?
Yeah, it's going to require a lot, considering the very, very complicated family life of these families. Anna, the one who died, the 18-year-old, her mother, biological mother, is called Heather, but her mother, who raised her, who was married to a natural father, is Tabitha Kepner. She kept
Tabitha, but I like your pronunciation. Tabitha.
Tabitha Kepner.
We'll go
So
with
she
Tabitha.
basically has three mothers.
Do we know how long they have been stepbrother and sister for?
Only 1 year. Only 1 year ago was the divorce from her natural father, and his second wife divorced a year ago, and then he married. Her name is 1 second. I had it written down too because I don't remember these things so easily. Chantel Hudson is the stepmother who is married to her natural father only 1 year. Only
Yeah.
1 year.
And you see right here from Oop Media, only 1 year, and they're sharing a cruise cabin. I don't know what WTF. Okay, so Carm, let me get us back on track here. I knew this would happen. So from most recent to least recent, and for full disclosure, I have not been on top of the news cycle today, so things could have changed today. Look at this. Someone's calling me out. Joel, your facts are a bit off. The younger sibling is also step.
Yeah, I
He's
didn't.
only okay. All right. It's in
the
the
name
custody
of
court
peace,
doc.
I didn't comment.
Oh well, thank you, Vanessa. You should comment. I was under the impression he was a full biological brother, but he is also a stepbrother and only 9 years old. Okay, so now they're at this family gathering yesterday. Now there's tremendous media scrutiny, and the mother apparently makes some sort of comment that she could only show up in a disguise. But what does it say, Carmen? I have very specific questions here. When a family, albeit this is now like a blended family, they can't even stand together publicly after the death of a child. What is it telling you about the emotional state of the household?
Well, the biological mother, Heather, has not been in the picture for a while, according to my understanding, because the Anna, the deceased young girl, was raised by Tabitha how do you pronounce it?
Tabitha
Tabitha Kepner, And she was not raised by her mother only, her natural mother, and then now she went on the cruise with her new stepmother. But here is an interesting tidbit. Her natural father and was in a custody battle, and there was going to be a hearing when they get off this vacation, when the vacation is over. And now there was a sort of a war between the the uh, new stepmother and her ex-husband. Are you following this?
I did not. But I was also looking at a comment.
Well,
But-
if
so-
we are the two of us, maybe we should have a dialogue.
let me. This comment I was trying to figure out. Stepbrother from Shelley Malone was obsessed. Now this is a 16-year-old with her and wanted a date. Caught a boy in her room while she was sleeping. Her other brother said that I did not hear that she caught. I don't know. But my question is, Carm, in these sorts of families where you've got stepsisters and stepbrothers, is it normal? Not normal. Is it unusual for a stepbrother
Yes.
to be attracted to a stepsister?
No, it's not unusual, but it's unusual that a teenager with raging hormones would be put into a room with a sister who is already, not a little. Even if it's a little child, you don't put them together.
Yeah. So now, according to court documents filed back on November 20th, which is literally yesterday, there's a new court filing. The 16-year-old now, according to these docs, is officially a suspect now. On the record, I said, what do you think when now that, according to quote unquote public record, this is quote unquote official, what's going on within the family dynamic? Is everyone sort of picking a proverbial team
Well,
here?
there are tremendous conflicts, even though the divorce happened, which we saw already with the Markels. Even though the divorce happened, there is still all this tension and animosity and filing. As I said, on the 18th, they were supposed to have a hearing with the ex-husband's custody, and that is the stepmother's husband, called Thomas, who is a stepfather and who is Chantel Hudson's ex-husband. And there are all these different entanglements, and it looks like there were entanglements on top of entanglements in the family.
And we're going to get to those entanglements, but I can't pronounce his name, Kaiomi, maybe. So it's sounding, and this is articulated much better than I ever could. It's sounding like the suspiciousness is on the stepbrother, and the parents are now at loggerheads. That's essentially what's going on. Now, add to the mix, Carm, there's more intrigue here and more twists and turns in this. And again,
may I say something?
Fact is always stranger than fiction. Please, Carm.
I think the story is bizarre in this sense also, and in many senses, but in this sense, the family had dinner together on the ship. Mm-hmm. And Anna said, "I don't feel well, I'm going in the room." And apparently she didn't feel well and went into the room. And apparently maybe she just used it as an excuse to go in the room. But then the question is, the 16-year-old brother, who is under suspicion now, innocent because he wasn't proven guilty, but he also had to be hospitalized. Did they take some kind of a drug?
Well, that's what I was just getting to, Carm. So,
Uh,
the attorney now for the stepbrother, I think, is revealing that this teen stepbrother, 16 years old, I believe his initials, they're obviously not revealing his name because he's a minor. I believe it's TH, and forgive me, but I'll look and I'll find it.
yes,
Um,
it's the age.
TH. The teen was hospitalized immediately after Anna's death, but the reason is undisclosed. They're saying it could be physical injury, some sort of psychological break, intoxication, or intervention. Now, I'm thinking, Carm, if it was some sort of drug overdose gone bad, I, there was a period of time, I believe, before he was actually hospitalized. Do you think that it is a mental health malady more so than a physical malady? And then we've got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah, that's a possibility that he became so despondent that he wanted to hurt himself, and that's why he was hospitalized. This is pure speculation.
Okay, now here's some questions for you, and then we'll dig back into the facts. Mary Cahill, Carm, how can her father now live with himself?
I guess people just continue to live with themselves. Um, I think she an only child from her natural mother and her father?
I thought that the other brother was a full
No,
biological
no,
brother. He's
I
not. So my guess might be yes, although I don't know for sure. But way to go,
her
Carm.
father and
Yeah. This is
stepmother.
this is a family photo here. Now look, if you're on the cruise ship and you see this family, you're gonna say, "Oh, they're a beautiful family, Instagram ready." I mean, Carm, is there some sort of cautionary tale here about family dysfunction in general? When you're on a cruise ship, or if you're at Disney World or somewhere else where families gather, should you always assume that the family has quite a bit of dysfunction in it?
No, people look like they happy family.
Mm.
They fill your fantasy. They satisfy your family of the. They satisfy you. You know that song from nursery school. We are a happy family, and everybody wants to see a happy family. And when you see uh, they are beautiful people. They are on a cruise together with teenagers. Why wouldn't they be a happy family? You don't think right away that somebody will die tonight and this will be a major tragedy.
By the way, Carmen and I are speaking at the Miami Book Fair this Sunday, 12:30. If you're in the South Florida area, it's on the Wolfson campus of Miami-Dade Community College. We were both invited to dinner tonight, Carmen, because I'm not going to dinner on Friday night. I'm eating at home, so I'm taking the COE. But tomorrow there is a reception on Miami Beach, and she just reflexively says no.
No, I'm looking forward to going.
No, what was the first thing you said? You said, "I'm not going." You said, "I'm not."
No, I
You're
said
literally listed as an author, the first author ever to be listed who's never written a book, and you're refusing to go to
and
the reception.
everybody is teasing me about that now.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be there at
It was Joel put it on
and,
Facebook.
and we usually talk about Carm's Holocaust story. If you haven't read the book, Surviving the Survivor, and
We decided it's over. No talking about the Holocaust part.
that's a QR code if you want to pick it up. But it is a life-changing book, and we're speaking about it. I'm getting back on track in 1 second, but I bring it up
I
because
have to say something.
Arm, who's an author, is adamantly refusing to go to the reception as well. If you're just joining us for first time ever, Fridays are a little different at STS. My mother and I go back and forth. And by the way, people accuse us of doing this for the camera. Trust me, all you have to do is just go to Carm's building and ask the people who work in her building, because I just posted some videos midweek from there. Carm, I thought she was talking about art. Look, she said this is clearly a confusing family situation. I literally read it as me and you, as our family is a confusing, and it is. But they're talking about this. Hi from South Africa. But anyway, Carm refused to go to this reception on Saturday, and now I said, "What else are you doing? You're watching local news, WSVN." So she's like, "Okay, I'll go." So this is a constant battle, uphill battle. That's a QR code for the book. Carm.
Oh, by the way, I have to tell you something. The book was published in when in
1900.
no in
1900.
in 23 2023.
They actually read it at Harvard in American literature, 19th century history.
Very funny. I decided, since we are going to talk about the book, and I don't remember what was the book about exactly, I decided to listen to the Audible, and since I'm a time millionaire, I can do that. I'm not finished with it, but I'm pretty close to the end, and I have to be very modest and toot our horn. The book is not bad, not great, but not bad.
What did I tell you about putting that book down? Because you're saying that as a joke. That book is pretty good.
I don't know how it happened. I think he got inspired. It was like the muse came and the muse went.
And if you don't sit down, by the way, the person with the worst work ethic of anyone in the family by a mile is Carm. She talks a big game and doesn't put in the effort. And if you don't sit down with me about Dad's book, it's on you if it never gets done.
Okay, so let's go back to this situation here.
So we're talking about the hospital. And by the way, what I was saying is Monday to Thursday, there are quote unquote normal functional shows every night with a panel of 3 best guests. And on Fridays, it's a little unhinged, I'll admit. And there's a little coffee involved and we go off the rails. And I'll be going off the rails after we're done with this story, because I picked some other stories that I want to discuss.
And I tell you right now, I have to be much stronger and say I don't want to play this game anymore, because he kind of enjoys to be the provocateur and gets himself high with this coffee. And then he really starts to foam at the mouth and says things. By the way, what you were ranting and raving about, remind me, what were you ranting and raving that turned out some people agreed with you?
I'm not going to say her name. She's used to work at Fox News, and she made some sick comments about 15-year-old girls versus 5 or 6 or 7 or 8-year-old girls. And you know what? Pretty much everyone agreed with me. And you guys, you and COE are like losing your minds.
My daughter-in-law was horrified that he ranted and raved like he went berserk.
Even the COE, she came running after me. She goes, "Is that coffee? Is that coffee?" She's trying to grab it out of my hand. Like I can't even drink coffee. Like I'm doing like cocaine or something. Matt B, life is stranger than fiction. Sad chain of events here. That's exactly what I was saying. Life is much stranger than fiction. Lives ruined. The older stepbrother staying in her room. Bad idea. Matt B sounds like a very good. I wonder if this is Matt Brode. Matt B, are you Matt Brode? No way. Matt B, email me, Surviving to Survive. It'd be hilarious if it was Matt Brode, who I just sent a picture of the earth and told him we'll be underneath that ground for a very long time. But okay, so Carm, this is possibly the most telling and interesting part of this story to me at this point, and also the most disturbing. Inside Edition, and I think we're gonna have, you know what, let me see if I have the clip here, everybody. Little disjointed today. Yes, I do. I do have the clip, thanks to the COE. COE, I could give you a big kiss right on that cheek. Here we go. This is now 18-year-old Anna Kepner's ex-boyfriend. Let's watch together. And I believe this is Inside Edition.
All right. And how old are you?
15.
15. And how did you meet Anna?
Past relationship last year.
And how did you actually meet with her? In school?
At school.
At school. What type of person was she?
She was a great woman, you know. I met her at school.
And the circumstances behind her death, you find them to be suspicious? And if so, tell me why.
It was suspicious because I knew that the brother did it, and yeah.
How do you know that?
Because of the past things that happened with him, like I was saying.
Which were those?
About the FaceTime and stuff.
What's the FaceTime?
Whenever I was on FaceTime with her, and when I was on FaceTime with her, and she was laying down, and the brother tried to go on top of her, and
you saw that?
Yeah. And
then, how did she react to that?
I was like, "What the hell are you doing in the room?" You know. Then he got scared and like ran away, and I heard his footsteps like running through the house, you know, because he got caught.
So when you learn to
I'm going to hold it right there. Carm, obviously very disturbing. This is now Anna Kepner's ex-boyfriend, and he's relaying a story of the stepbrother. He was on FaceTime with her at this time, and the stepbrother comes in the room and gets on top of her while she is sleeping.
No,
This-
she's talking to him.
That's the part that's tough to discern because apparently, yeah, she's talking to him, but she apparently, according to
How old is this guy?
I have no idea. He's a senior in high school, I think. But what about this revelation? This guy's 15 COE? This kid? Okay. Carm, what about this revelation from an ex-boyfriend that the stepbrother is mounting the stepdaughter on FaceTime, whether she's asleep or not?
Assume it was true. Even if it was not true, it still was not right. I understand they might have wanted to save money and put all the children in the same room, but with this brother, stepbrother, having these issues, it wasn't the best idea.
Look at this. Mushroom coffee is intoxicating. Tell me, it tastes good too, by the way.
But they say it's healthier.
Rise Coffee, RYZE. They should really be sponsoring this show. I've given them more plugs than the people who they're actually paying to plug it. Lots of teens in relationships do that. Talk to each other on FaceTime while falling asleep. That's interesting. And that's a great point. COE, I don't know if she purposely just removes comments when I'm like in the middle of reading them, but that's a great point. Like my own kids talk to their friends, when they're in bed at night. I mean, they're much younger. But Carm, that's probably the most likely scenario that they were, saying goodnight to each other, going to bed, and then suddenly she falls asleep. He looks up.
Listen,
And
there is a very interesting piece of information. These are American citizens, the whole family, everybody, and the death happened on international high seas, okay, on the seas. So the FBI automatically is in charge, which is a good news because the FBI is doing the investigating, and the Carnival Cruises made a statement that they are fully cooperating. They have their own security, Carnival Cruises, on each ship, and they were worried about business, so they assured everybody that there is no danger on the ship. But we still don't know. Somebody just mentioned that somebody else came into the room. The little stepbrother said, right?
correct.
So then we don't know who else came into the room.
Well, here from
the defense attorney will bring up.
From Dan Art here, the parents didn't care. Obviously married 3 times. I did not know that. With little regard to the children's feelings. Carm, what about that aspect? I mean, I do have to say that you and my father were amazing parents, dedicated to your children. I was just explaining to my kids this week, my very own kids, that not all parents are great, like I and you.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, what about that point? Is
No,
there?
I don't know. Just because they were married 3 times, they might have been still very devoted to their children. They brought her on the vacation with them. They didn't have to, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking more generally speaking.
Don't judge them unless you have the facts. You don't know what kind of parents they were. You don't know anything else, but there are 3 different. I mentioned from the beginning, her natural mother's name is Heather. The mother who was raising her is called Tabitha, who was not her mother. And now she has a new stepmother.
And here's a quote from Anna Kepner's step-grandfather, Christopher Donahue. I don't know why Anna was staying in a room with her stepbrother. By the way, I'm not going to even comment on this, but Carm has cut me off. I've been counting internally, and it's raging inside of me. Has cut me off at least like 5 to 7 times already, but no one ever says anything. about that.
It's
No one
only
ever
time to help
brings
you.
that up. This will all be coming out very soon. Carm, this kid is 16. If he's charged as an adult, and look, 16-year-olds are kids, 18-year-olds are kids, 23-year-olds, even though technically they're not, are still kids. But this is going to have a huge impact, of course, on the rest of his life. So it is a tragedy any which way you slice it. Now, I want to bring up the ex-boyfriend and play that out now. Carm, this is the ex-boyfriend who the COE says that he said he was 15, which I'm sure he did, and I didn't catch it because I was so enraged that you keep cutting me off.
You shouldn't let
CEW.
emotion.
All right, and how old are you?
15.
15. And how
15,
did
you
you
just
meet
said it.
her?
Through a past relationship last year.
And how did you actually meet with her? In school?
At school.
At school? What type of person was she?
She was a great woman, you know. I met her at school.
And the circumstances behind her death, you find them to be suspicious? And if so, tell me why.
It was suspicious because I knew that the brother did it, and yeah.
How do you know that?
Because of the past things that happened with him, like I was saying,
Which were right?
about the FaceTime and stuff.
What's the FaceTime?
Whenever I was on FaceTime with her, and when I was on FaceTime with her, and she was laying down, and the brother tried to go on top of her, and
You saw that.
yeah.
And
And then
how did she react to that?
I was like, what the hell are you doing in the room, you know? Then he got scared and like ran away. And I heard his footsteps like running through the house, you know, because he got caught.
So when you learned of her passing, you know, what was your reaction?
I ran away. He ran away. It was kind of crazy.
And when you learned that she passed away, how did you feel?
I felt very sad, you know, because that was my first love. She was the best that ever happened to me. And I'd even walk to her work to see her, you know, for like 5-10 minutes.
You could talk with her before her death?
Like 3 weeks before it, yes ma'am. I was actually supposed to go on the cruise that she went on, but we broke up before that.
When did you split?
We split up like 6 months ago.
6 months. Okay.
And everyone said she's just a bright light. So many people wearing bright colors today. How would you describe the kind of person she was?
She was a great person. She definitely knew how to throw on her outfit. She was great, you know. She knew how to put on colors. It wasn't like a basic outfit.
And this is your mom?
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
okay with you talking to us?
Yeah, but we need to go.
Okay. I just wanted...
Okay.
What should happen next?
Thank you.
What do you think should happen?
I think that he should get thrown in jail for as long as possible. And yeah.
And when did you move into the house?
I have no idea.
Like a year or two?
Maybe like a year ago. I think so.
You'd
I don't
You'd
know.
like to see justice for
Yeah,
your
I'd
for your
like
first
to
love.
see a lot of justice. Yes,
Has she ever complained about his behavior before?
yes ma'am. Yes, sir.
What did she complain about?
She complained about him being uncomfortable, or her being uncomfortable around him, because of the fact that he tried to go on top of her in the bed, and because of that she tried to go and stay the night at her friend's house and to dodge the staying the night at her house.
So that happened more than once?
Yes.
Did she ever bring that up with
How many
her?
times did that happen?
It happened one time, around like 3 a.m. that night.
Have you
That time that
reported
when
this?
you were on the FaceTime call with
Yes, sir.
3 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Did she ever report that to her father?
No, I have not. I've reported it to the FBI.
He went down sooner.
And what is your name, ma'am?
Okay, so this boy's father also spoke to Inside Edition, just to corroborate what the son said. One of the other interesting things that he did talk about was that the stepbrother allegedly always carried around a very large, imposing knife. He's a 16-year-old kid. What do you make of that, Carm? He was apparently a troubled kid, but to carry a knife, that's kind of next level.
I feel that with 90% we don't know. We know only 10%. We don't know if this 16-year-old stepbrother had a history of problems. We don't know if the knife story is true. We don't know who was doing the parenting for whom and when. Certainly, there was no continuity in the raising of the children because of all the breakups and the new remarriages to other people and moving to other houses, and it's a very disturbing situation for the children, I think.
Now the mother, Heather Wright, she posted on TikTok, I believe it was the day after this, saying, let's see here. My beautiful baby girl was found dead Friday, and I just found out last night. Her dad and stepmom didn't even try to contact me. So I'm going to give that to God and let him sort it out along with whoever did this to my baby girl. She lives in Oklahoma. What about that response, Carm? I mean,
that is the natural mother who gave birth to her.
Right. And now she's giving it to God. She seems devastated, clearly. She also seems out of the loop and doesn't I mean, this was also early on. What do you make of her reaction that she's going to give it to God? Is there something else that she can do?
She gave the child to other people. So now she's used to giving the child to other people. Now she's giving the child to God.
And COE, I saw someone mention in the comments that now the father, since we've come on air, has released some sort of statement. It'd be great if we can find that. And also, you have a soundbite, you said, from the mother. Can we play that if you have it? Oh, here we go. This is the step. Look at the COE. Look how quick she is, Carm. Anna Kepner's father.
She's a miracle worker when it comes.
We were there as a family. Everybody was questioned. Everybody came off that ship. I don't know who they are looking at or what their investigation is. Now, this sounds like a very nebulous, almost slightly defensive statement, Carm. How do you read this statement? Everybody came off that ship.
He talked to the lawyer. He talked to his lawyer.
That's the lawyer. You're 100% right, Carm. 100% right. COE, do you have the sound from the mother that you indicated that you do have? Okay. While we wait for that sound, Carm, let's move on here. Let's talk about the discovery of the body, which is always difficult. Now, cleaning crews, Carm, I see you looking at all the comments. Try to focus. Cleaning crew discovers Anna's body, and it is crammed under her own bed at an angle where you can't see it from, above the bed. And that is why I guess the other brother went in and slept beside her, not knowing she was no longer alive. What does this concealment tell you about the state of mind, if anything, of the person who committed this, presumably now the stepbrother?
Well, obviously, they're trying to hide it, and they succeeded. Whoever did this succeeded in hiding the body for a few hours. There are so many parts of this. We should make a date in a month when we find out more, that we should really get together and talk about it, because it is.
You imagine Carm on a CNN panel. It's great to be with you here tonight, Laura Coates. Thank you for having me. But, I actually think we should come back in a month when things are solved. So I'm just going to sit here and tell you that this conversation is premature. I'm just going to sit here. And Laura, you can just have we're doing a show right now, Carm. I don't need to come back in a month. I need to do it right now, or we don't have a show. How can you talk to your mother like that? You are so rude.
No, I mean, you are right. But what I'm saying is that there is a laundry list of unknowns, and very little is known except the fact that she didn't feel well, she said at the dinner, Anna, and and she said, I'm going to my room, which she did. And in the morning, they waited for her to come to breakfast, and she didn't come, and she didn't come. And they were looking for her all over. The whole family and the ship was alerted. They were looking for her. And then a cleaning service person found her under the bed. One of the things that I'm surprised about is that there is so little space on a ship. I haven't been on a ship. I was once in my life, was in Carnival cruise. And I didn't think there was enough room under a bed to put a body there. But apparently there was enough room to hide the body under the bed. And then it was a shock when the next day they discovered the body. And then we know the fact that the brother, the stepbrother, needed to be hospitalized, that we know. And now he's a suspect. I don't know if the police said that he's a suspect or if it's people in the family who said that he's a suspect.
Hi, Joel. Thanks for the live. This comment makes my day. Makes my day workday go faster. One of the reasons that I see. Thank you, COE. Canine Catherine, Carm channeling Phil. Phil always says we don't have all the evidence and the facts, therefore he can't address the situation.
I just try to be like him without the 500.
We should do a show where I just say hello and we just sit quietly, don't say a word for 90 minutes. I wonder how it would do. Do you think we could last 90 minutes without talking?
That would be like, I am not myself anymore and you are not yourself.
Look at this. Hi, Carm. We love you. Ignore Joel. Fridays are a little different, everybody. If you hate this show, you're probably watching twice as much. But that comment about being...
I am very paranoid.
Another interruption.
Accusing people of things that they may not be guilty of.
That comment made me very happy. I'm a radio addict. My kids will tell you I fall asleep to Coast AM. But to me, radio is like having a friend. And so when this person just said that we keep them company at work, I think it was James, that warms my heart. It warms my heart. Look at this. The first one ever. Look at this. Joel, you are so great. Keep talking. Brenda, I love you. There's no other way to say it other than I love you. I feel like I need that right now. Okay. So the mother here does a phone interview, and let's listen together. And by the way, this cruise ship goes out in international waters, and the point was made that this 16-year-old legally on a cruise ship, I believe, can drink alcohol. Now, we don't know if he was. I'm just saying that obviously alcohol and coffee limit inhibitions, and perhaps that played a factor. Look at this. LEM, I love STS Fridays with Joel. See, always a great time. Friday's a little different, I guess.
When we go back 2 questions ago, there was a long question that was like explaining blended families and was removed before we looked at it, about blended families.
Let me look for that comment for you. Oh, there we go. Look how quick COE is. While blended families can be complicated, they can work very well with loving and mature adults. Yeah, for sure. Let's not hate on. Oh, absolutely not. New member, love your podcast. Thank you so much, Denise Vickers. I mean, Carm, can you please underscore that? I mean, most blended families, most families aren't at a level of dysfunction that this seems to be. I'm just saying that in general. And I mean, look at me and Carm. We've got serious issues.
Well, in all fairness to this family, to Kepner, the father Kepner and the mother, the stepmother, they didn't have to take the kids with them. They could have sent the kids to grandparents and uncles and other family and went on the vacation by themselves. The fact that they took the children with them is a good thing, nice thing to do for the family.
Shout out to La Mesa Filipina Food Club. Okay, here we go. This is the mother now being interviewed, the biological mother of Anna Kepner, from what I understand. Here we go.
Almost three. And she went horseback riding for the first time, and the guy that was walking the horse said that she was acting as if a pro was riding the horse, like she'd been out doing it her whole life, and it was the very first time she'd ever been on a horse.
She must have had a bunch of confidence.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. But yeah, she was a really good child. I mean, she never really complained about much. She never cried that much as a baby. And as a teenager, she was the same. She was just always happy anytime I'd see her and talk to her.
These pictures, I know these pictures. I've been looking at them for quite a bit of time now. I'm sure you've been kind of diving into these, kind of remembering when some of these were taken and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a lot.
Any of these photos kind of stand out to you, make you remember specific moments or anything like that?
Well, all of them do actually, but let me see, the one with her, I believe, holding the baby, it's actually her youngest brother. Youngest brother is my youngest son. That weekend, that was the first time she got to see him after I had him, and she didn't want to put him down. She wanted to hold him the whole time she was there.
What an incredible big sister. You know, everyone looks up to your big sister, knowing she was that way from such a young age.
Yeah.
These last couple weeks, have you been holding up okay? I know you've been at church. I'm sure we're leaning on faith, and the fellowship there has been super helpful for you.
Yeah, they have been. I'm trying to hold it together.
I can only imagine what you're dealing with. I know church is a big deal for everybody. It's like an extended family, so having them with you has to be a great shoulder to lean on.
Yeah, it is.
Is there anything? I don't want to take you up too much of your time tonight, but is there anything you think
I'm not busy for the rest of the night.
Anything you think we're skipping over?
That's like Carm. I've got one of the biggest gets right now for any true Carm story. I don't want to take up your time. Like, if you're interviewing somebody, take up their time and ask the questions. Go
over.
ahead.
I really just wanted to kind of highlight Anna and focus on some of your memories and how you've been holding up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm holding up, I guess, as best as you can. Try not to fall apart. But yeah, no, she was just a great child. She was always happy. She loved. We had her in dance and cheerleading. Well, not cheerleading, but gymnastics and dance since she was, I think, 3. It was when we first put her in that, and she's just loved it ever since. And she became a cheerleader in high school. And I think she did dance class in high school too, but I'm not positive on that one.
Okay. The thing that stands out to me about these photos is just, I think every single one that I've clicked through, she's got this massive smile on her face. Was she always trying to make people laugh and everything like that?
Yeah, she was. She didn't like it if people were upset. She kind of like takes after me on that one. But yeah, she was always trying to make everybody smile. She was always happy. An extremely happy child. I don't think she was ever really upset or depressed anytime I'd seen her.
She found the joy in everything.
Yeah.
That's the interview. Now, unless I missed it, this guy didn't ask a single question, as far as I know, about the family dynamics, what she knew about the stepson. Those are all questions that should have been asked. I don't know if it was a different part of the interview, so I will give this person the benefit of the doubt. COE, I don't even know where that comes from, where the media source is on that. But carnival policy, thank you to Superstar. Ages 15 to 17 minors can be in a separate room, not the same as the guardian. So if you're 15 to 17, only if their cabin is up to 3 rooms away from the guardians must it be linked to the guardian's reservation. Okay. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know how it necessarily would have helped specifically in this case, but Carm, there's a few more things, and then we're going to get to a couple of other stories. And by the way, Fridays is always leave a comment from Carm or a question. As a licensed therapist, it is her opinion. She cannot give professional advice, but if you're having relationship struggles, if your son is worse than her son and you want to discuss it, you can ask her. We'll take questions for the last portion of the show. Now, Chantel, Carm, correct me if I'm wrong, is the stepmother. Is that right?
Yes.
And her ex-husband is a guy named Thomas Hudson. Thomas Hudson.
Exactly.
And he files an emergency motion, and he's alleging that there is a few things here, that there is household violence. So this is now the other father stepping in, saying that there's household violence, says that his 9-year-old son is that's the one who was sharing the room, is in quote unquote an immediate danger of abuse, abandonment, or neglect. And says that the teen, this 16-year-old who was in the hospital, who's accused of this crime, is now living with a neutral third party. And he claims that Chantel, the mother here, violated court orders and alleged a violent altercation between she and her adult son. There's so much going on here, Carm, but basically he's saying it's a violent household, and his 9-year-old who's on this cruise is in serious jeopardy, and the boy who's in question is no longer staying with either of them. What do you make of this?
It's a mess, to use a scientific term. It's a mess. This family, you mean it's Chantal who is abusive?
It doesn't say specifically. It could be the her husband. It doesn't say, but he's saying that the household.
Her husband is Anna, the deceased young woman's father, natural father.
Okay.
And the marriage is very new. The marriage is very new. The marriage is only a year old.
What did you think of the mother that we just listened to? There were moments of emotion where you can tell she's trying to hold it back, but in general, and there's no way, look, everyone grieves differently, but in general,
I tell you what I picked up?
That's interruption 13, and no one will say a
Sorry,
word.
darling.
No one will say a word. Go ahead. Not
be
one person will say a word. Carm, to use a previous descriptor, could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. But go ahead, Carm.
Now, what were we talking about?
I was asking you about the mother's interview, and that's when you interrupted me.
Yes, I don't know if you picked up. Sometimes I interrupt you, and I'm my best lawyer. I always have an alibi. The reason I interrupt you is that I don't want to forget what I'm talking about. And in this particular situation with the natural mother who gave birth to Anna, who now lives in Oklahoma and sounds like she has a little boy, she admits when the interviewer asks her, you can listen to it again, he asks her some things and she doesn't know. She says, I don't know. Why doesn't she know? Because the girl is not with her. The girl does not live in Oklahoma with her. She lives with this strange family situation where the woman who brought her up was her father's second wife. And the natural mother, Heather, doesn't know. She says, I don't know this or that, because she wasn't with her daughter. And even some of the photographs that she shows remind me, I have a friend whose granddaughters don't live with her in the same town. And when they talk on FaceTime, my friend takes pictures of the granddaughters to have them after the conversation. And if you look very carefully on the previous photographs that during the mother's interview, when she's showing photographs, they are taken off the phone when she had a communication with her daughter who was not there with her in the same space or in the same place.
Carm has unlimited interruptions, so you can say that again. What do you think of this, Carm?
Thank you. I think she says I got permission for.
Yeah. This person says this marriage will soon be over. Is the stress of what's going on here going to break up this marriage, Carm?
You know, when I learned one thing very early when I was working on my master's degree, the teacher said, look at the pattern. The pattern is an indicator. If somebody did this a few times before, chances are it's a pattern. There's no guarantee. What is this? 3 times is charm. Is there a saying like that?
Third time is the charm.
Third time is charm. This is the third marriage for this guy.
It's
and
third time is the charm, not third time is charm. What is there? Is there an equivalent? Is there equivalent in Serbian to that? Is there an equivalent in Serbian?
No, because in Serbian they don't give you 3 chances.
What's like a slogan or what do you call these? Like what did you grow up in Serbia? Like what do you remember from childhood? That's a very common. Tell it to us in Serbian.
I will have to think because right now the Serbian. Thinking in Serbian is in the back of my head because I have to focus on the English right now.
I had this fantasy that I would learn Serbian before it was too late, and you and I could converse in Serbian. But I don't think.
Listen, you have a wife who is a Spanish speaker.
Yeah, I should
and
probably
I begged you to learn Spanish, but you didn't.
Serbian, Spanish are both equally useful. Carm, I was asking a question before.
Spanish is more useful.
This is the 13th interruption. That was sarcasm.
Carm, 14.
Okay, so I was asking about the biological mother. She seems a bit detached. That's what I was getting at. She seems a bit detached just from the whole situation. Number one, did you find that? Number two, would that be normal?
Well, you don't know if in the long run she will feel that way. But don't forget, she was not with this child. It looks like she has a family in Oklahoma. She has a little boy that she mentioned, and she lives in Oklahoma, and she's not. The intensity maybe will hit her a little later because right now she's like in a different environment with different people on an ongoing basis for years.
By the way, this is a great comment from Janine, and we'll get to this advice, but Janine says Carm could interrupt in 2 languages. She could actually speak 6. She could interrupt in all 6 languages, and trust me.
Joel added the 6. By the way,
Spanish.
Nobody noticed.
Carm, someone wants to know what advice. Now it's my turn to right here. What advice do you give to children who would be in a similar situation to Anna? Let's say they're in this stepbrother, stepsister relationship, and the stepsister's uncomfortable because the stepbrother is 16 and he looks like Fred humping a pillow, out of control. What kind of advice do you offer?
May I say something? I don't need to go to them. I had a stepfather. From the age of 4.5, I had a stepfather.
Yeah, but you didn't have siblings.
Well, I did have a half sibling, half sister.
Well, what's the advice you would give?
Listen, they are really more exposed to certain dangers. Like I would never, ever, even though my stepfather was like a very nice person and he would kill himself before he would do anything that is inappropriate. But still, I would never, ever, never sleep in the same room with him. And my mother had a brother. And when I was a student, I lived in there. He and his wife and his 2 children, and at times I personally felt uncomfortable, even though nothing ever happened. But I had the feeling that this was me, that he looked at me not as a niece, but as a woman.
Am I making this up, or did your uncle George, who is a very big rabbi in Switzerland, involved?
Not the one that people imagine. He was a very modern. What?
Interruption 17, 18, and 19. Did he punch someone and jump off a train to survive? Or am I making?
Yes.
He did, right?
Yes.
He was kind of a very cool.
A very fast moving train.
He was a very, very cool looking guy. He had a goatee and he's sparkling like blue eyes, right?
Yeah. Nobody had blue eyes. My grandfather had blue eyes.
By the way, my middle daughter, her name is Zizi. People always say, "Is that a nickname?"
Don't
Zizi.
tell the story again, please.
It's in the book. It's in the book,
I'll
Surviving the
forget, guys.
Survivor. It's in the book, but it's interesting. Okay, La Mesa
It's not-
Filipino Food Club. Carm, how do you feel about parents, even those not that involved in day-to-day life, really suggesting that a child was happy? To me, that means well behaved. Doesn't stress adults are not necessarily. I don't know if I follow this correctly, but basically, when a parent who's not that involved describes their kid as happy, does that really mean happy, or they're just even keel? What do you think?
I think it could be also wishful thinking. It could be that she hoped her daughter was happy, and her daughter was maybe a people pleaser.
This is a very draining show on Fridays. By the way, next week, just so you all know, the COE and I are here Monday, Tuesday. Then we have to head out west. We're going to be at a dude ranch. No, we're going to Los Angeles, and we're going to see the COE's family, including Space Coast. While we're there, I did extra work this week for everybody, so we don't miss you. We're going to have an interview that I think is very interesting with Dick Harpootlian of Alec Murdoch fame. I sat with him for an hour and almost 15 minutes. We have a video of gratitude from Ruth Markel that will be out on Thanksgiving. And last night we did something really interesting. I spoke to a real live Hollywood producer, one of the top attorneys for YouTube, and Steve Cohen about what makes a true crime story break out as a hit show or a docuseries. And it was really interesting. The three of them are very, very smart, and I think you'll find that fascinating. It was my idea, and I'll take full credit for it. All those will be out next week, so you're not going to miss us at all. And then a week from Monday, we are going to be streaming gavel-to-gavel coverage of Brian Walsh's trial. Now, next Monday, we are traveling back all day. And because of that, Space Coast will be at the controls running the trial. And I'm going to talk to Joe Patudo and see if she can come in and do some legal analysis. And then I'll be here the rest of the way through the Anna Walsh, Brian Walsh trial. She has never been found. And that's a sick man who, in my opinion, will be convicted. He took a plea deal on the lesser charges. Carm, one other thing before we switch gears here. This is when you say to yourself, as Matt B said, that truth is stranger than fiction. So now, apparently, Anna's father was the respondent in a sexual violence injunction, reportedly. And the petitioner in that injunction was connected to a 15-year-old babysitter. So basically, breaking this down, the father here, and I believe it's the biological father of Anna Kepney, got himself in trouble for fooling around with the 15-year-old babysitter as if the rest was not enough. This sounds like an absolute maze puzzle of dysfunction and disaster looming. But what about this revelation that it is being reported and not corroborated?
Where did you see this?
This is according to other court documents, Carm. So what is your response to that this father apparently got himself in trouble with a 15-year-old babysitter, according to reports?
Well, then he is a child. If he is found guilty, if it indeed happened, you don't know if this lawsuit was initiated because one of his exes is mad at him, or because of the husband of one of his exes is mad at him. You don't know what was the reason for this. If it indeed happened, then he is a child abuser, and they will put him away for a very long time, and he will have to be in the registry.
Let's get justice here for Anna Kepney, beautiful young woman. technically a woman at 18, but obviously she's still a kid in high school, and
Why
just
is
never
the
should have.
word girl a dirty word these days?
Yeah, it's politically incorrect. You'll be canceled. No, no. Now on to the fun part of the show. We put that behind us. I've got some stories I want to talk about with Carm, and now is your chance to start peppering Carm with any questions, comments. This part of the show is leave a comment.
Now I'm just warning everybody. He drank most of the tea or the coffee already, and he finds the weirdest stories, which I don't know what are the stories about. And
Anna was a straight A student.
He will pick them for the shock effect.
Anna was also a straight A student, cheerleader, social, and hoped to make it to the Navy. Carmen, it's so amazing that this comment just came up. I really was going to ask. I swear on my life, I was going to ask you this question, and I forgot until this comment. Do you think, and I want your honest opinion, do you think that I could have been a Navy SEAL? I mean, I'm not a great swimmer, but do you think I have the...
No, Joel.
Why?
I think it's
okay. SEAL might be realistically a SEAL might be like a step, and I don't mean to disrespect SEALs. I'm one of the biggest supporters of the United States military. But what about like an Army Ranger? I feel like I could have been a good soldier.
No, you could have been a great soldier, but I feel the SEALs are so extreme. They have such extreme requirements. It's either you die or you make it.
Well, we lived in Israel for a short time. You wanted to make it your home. Dad couldn't survive there as a doctor. What if I went into the Israeli military? You think I would have been like in a combat unit?
My uncle used to say to me that if I had, he says, if he had 4 wheels, he could be a bus.
I mean, here's the thing. I would be there next to prison. I think probably war is scarier than prison, but I would just go crazy. Like I would just be running. I mean, you don't think I could have done it? Like there's a part of me.
I think you could have done it if you lived in a different environment. In Highland Park, it was all the university and learning and tennis and like very soft life.
Lantana says I could be in a unit. She says I could be in a unit, but not in a combat unit. Shout out to Nahum. There's an Israeli name. My mom's friend has a friend. He's in his 90s now. And in our kitchen, he was a very high-ranking Israeli soldier, and he's one of the toughest, sweetest guys you'll ever meet.
Did you see this, Joel, what she wrote before Eliana takes it off? It's true.
What? Joel, your great gift is what you're doing now. Oh, Blackwoodor, that's so sweet. Blackwoodor is a sweet person. I would have been a great war reporter. I probably would have been. Nothing would be scarier than war, not even prison. Because at prison, at least I could just hide in a corner. By the way, fratricide is what this tragedy is. But I want to be like a SEAL for a day. I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of SEALs. And every SEAL I meet is like 6'2" to 6'4". They're built like polar bears. They have these giant hands. The former Interior Secretary of the United States of America, I became friendly with him when I was working in Washington, D.C. What's his name? He's a congressman from Montana. I'm totally blanking on his name, but we would always see each other around Capitol Hill. And he kind of, like, if you didn't know he was a SEAL, you'd think he could be like an accountant or something. He's all cleaned up. But he, too, is like 6'4" with these bare paw hands. And I go to his office one day. COE, what is his name? Anyway, I go to his office one day, and he's sorting out swords, Carm. He's like, oh, I got this sword on this
well, read this comment.
Deployment.
Sure.
Joel would interrupt. I'm not a very good swimmer, so the SEAL might be a bridge too far. But other things, COE, what is the name of that guy? It's driving me crazy.
Okay, now everybody, this is the moment that really.
Okay, on to other stories.
The drink
Carm.
has
On to
done-
other stories. Yeah, the one from Montana. He was a former Interior Secretary of the United States of America. Ryan, not Ryan. It'll come to me. I can't believe I.
All right, Joel.
Okay.
Do your
One of the reasons I brought up the SEALs is because this next story. The U.S. Coast Guard has announced a policy shift, Carm, and it's effective this December 15th. Ryan Zinke. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. I think he hunts bears with his bare hands. By the way, Ryan Zinke was not just a Navy SEAL, and I found this fascinating. They call him the commander at Navy, whatever SEAL. He was commander at SEAL Team 6. And the reason I asked him, why is it commander at and not commander of? Because SEALs do not have commanders, but they have to have the name commander in there. So instead of being the commander of SEAL Team 6, he was commander at SEAL Team 6. So I thought that was fascinating. Okay, enough of that. On to these side stories. If you have questions for Carm, COE, you can start to bring up questions. But as of December 15th, 2025, the United States Coast Guard has announced a policy shift. It is no longer going to classify symbols such as the swastika or a noose as hate symbols, instead labeling them potentially divisive. The swastika, tied directly to the Nazi regime, your old friends, Carm, and the Holocaust, is grouped together with the noose and the Confederate flag under the new category, potentially divisive. Previous policy allowed for immediate removal of such symbols. The new policy lowers the threshold and introduces a 45-day time frame to report incidents. So basically, within the United States Coast Guard, they are now going to allow swastikas and nooses to be symbols that can exist unless you complain about them. Your thoughts as a former Holocaust survivor? Or I guess not former, still a Holocaust survivor.
Well, to tell you the truth, there are strange things happening, but we are all like symbolic animals. Like you look at the American flag and you have a certain emotion. Symbols are very important for human beings. I don't think a dog would be aware of symbols. I think symbols are just human beings are the only ones who respond to symbols. And I personally, I couldn't care less, to be honest. That's not what's gonna work me up.
What will work you up? I'd like to know.
Well, I'm not going into politics and what's happening.
If you have a Nazi flag in Austria, you go to jail. You know what? You should.
They were. That's where they are the source. That's where the birth of the events.
Is that where is Adolf?
Hitler was from Austria.
He was. It was going to be my next question. I don't know that much about Adolf. I should know more. I would say Joel could be in the IT department with the SEALs, but I don't really think so because he's got Fisher Price equipment. Well, we're moving in a great direction in the United States Coast Guard. You can now wear swastikas and get away with it. Okay, moving on here, Carm. I think you were a fan. I once saw him in Los Angeles, but now in a November 19th interview with The Telegraph, Kevin Spacey says that he is now homeless. He's living in hotels and Airbnbs, so technically not homeless, but and he says this is because of years of legal and career fallout. He lived in Baltimore. He had to auction off his home in Baltimore because of mounting costs and the lack of steady income. This is, by the way, a guy who was an A-list celebrity for, I don't know, close to probably 30 years.
What did he do, actually? That
he was accused of R-ing young men and penetrating them in ways that he should not. It was penetrative R word.
Okay.
He has
But
described his financial
he did it once, or he did it
he has a
repeatedly?
lot of allegations, like a trail of them. He's like Harvey Weinstein-esque. He described his financial situation as quote unquote not great, despite being cleared of criminal charges in the UK in 2023 and in the United States earlier than that. He says that his career remains stalled with few major roles, and a comeback would be dependent on getting the blessing, he said, of people like Spielberg and some others in Hollywood. He is canceled in Hollywood parlance. He rejects that language. Carm, should this guy with a checkered past be allowed to come back? Look at this. The Netherlands is in the house.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't our premise, and we try to be disciplined about this, that everybody is innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah, he was never convicted. But what about also where there is fire, where there's smoke, there's fire?
Well, wait a second. He was declared not guilty in Great Britain and in the United States, and he's still blacklisted.
Yep.
So that's a very dangerous. That's a slippery slope. I mean, you can be completely innocent of something and get blacklisted for what? If you were proven innocent.
I'm fascinated because he's one of the greater actors out there, and he was also an A-lister for that long.
May I say
I can't believe that he's basically broke. Are you surprised that he's financially almost destitute?
No, I'm not, because we love attorneys, and they really are very important in what you are doing. But if you had to pay for them, they charge a lot.
Usual Suspects was fantastic. This next story is a bit disturbing, so there's a trigger warning here, but it caught my attention.
What do other people think? I think that if he was acquitted of these charges, I think he has been ostracized for a long time. What was his name? There were other people that were accused of things, and after a while, they worked their way back into.
Carm, do you think that if he got, let's say he got back into a role in Hollywood, do you think he was acquitted or not? Let's put it this way: he wasn't criminally charged, but do you think if he has a penchant for this and he became popular again, would he slip back into his old ways?
Not anymore.
You don't think
he
so?
Would be very, very. I don't think he would. I mean, whatever he likes to do, he could do it with people who are of the same mind as he, and he wouldn't have to force people. He could have it. He could have it without forcing people into it.
On to the next story. I'm giving everyone a warning. There's
Janet Bell said that she doesn't think people believe he is innocent. What? It doesn't matter what people believe. Which people? Why?
What's amazing is how much money these attorneys make. That's what's incredible. Because this
Not
guy was
all attorneys. Some attorneys make millions, and some attorneys literally don't meet. It depends.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. had issues. Obviously, what's his name? The guy they just did a doc on, Charlie Sheen, had issues, but they weren't allegations of R-ing young men in a penetrative manner, as they say. On to the next story. Again, I'm warning everybody.
He was declared innocent.
I would like to say that I have a bigger picture question for this next story, but it just caught my attention. A 15-year-old apprentice in Turkey, his name is Mohammed Kendirici, Carm. He died after coworkers did something to him that they thought was funny. Would you care to take a guess at what they did to him?
Listen, we have hard time managing our business here in the US. Should we go into a totally different culture that
Arm,
is?
this is a global phenomenon. You know, have you ever heard of Isagul Aksu? She's from Turkey. That's where this story is. We have people in all corners of the world. Why limit us?
I agree with you, but I have no idea what did he do.
By the way, someone said, where are Scott and Phil? I talked to Scott, and we had Phil on last week. They're going to come on probably on Tuesdays or
You
Wednesdays.
had
We're
him
gonna
on
do,
during the week.
yeah, interruption
I
19.
am saying special prayers that they should come back on weekends, at least every second or
Good.
twice in a row before they take off a week.
Matthew Broderick killed someone, just swept under the rug. There you go.
Matthew Broderick killed
Yeah.
someone.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, I believe that is true.
How did he kill someone? I'm curious. I'll Google it.
Was it maybe drunk driving? I don't know if it was drunk driving. Okay. So I bring this up because I read this story and they're 15 years old. And then I realized this could have happened to me or one of my friends who were such idiots growing up. But he died after his friends forced a high pressure air hose into his rectum. It was described.
Oh my God. Do you know what, Joel? Love you. Next.
It was described as a prank, but it severely injured his internal organs.
Next.
This one is fascinating to me, Carm. Have you ever heard of sheep? A new fashion collection titled I Will Survive debuted in New York City. It is made entirely from the wool of rams who are described as gay, rescued by a German farm after being discarded for not mating. Something like 1 in 12 sheep are reportedly gay. In other words, they do not mate. They are more interested in the other male sheep. And a gay designer named Michael Schmidt, along with a gay website, Grindr, and a nonprofit that this designer started called Rainbow Wool, they said, don't kill these rams just because they are gay. Let's use their wool, and turned it into a passion project. And they are now, apparently their wool is a little bit better and stronger and more interesting. And so they're now using the wool of these gay sheep to save them from slaughter because they don't appropriately mate the way other sheep do. I think it's a beautiful story. Your thoughts?
May I say something to you? I almost became vegetarian or vegan because on the TV there is an advertising for some kind of a beef that is more tender and cured and everything, and they show these beautiful animals in a beautiful area of the state.
Is there such a thing as gay sheep? Go ahead, Carm.
Anyway, and it just breaks my heart looking at these beautiful animals with their little calves, and they're called Angus beef.
Look at this, Carm. By the way, when I said go ahead, Carm, it said go ahead, Connor. There are gay sheep, and not just anecdotally. This is one of the most famously documented examples of same-sex behavior in the animal kingdom. Multiple studies, including those led by Dr. Charles Roselli at Oregon Health and Science University, have shown that about 8% of male domestic rams exclusively prefer other males, even when fertile females are available. These rams seek out male partners, refuse to mate with ewes, EWES, form long-term same-sex pair bonds, and show distinct brain structure differences, specifically in the SDN, the sexually dimorphic nucleus. It is not caused by hormones, exposure, environment. These rams showed innate orientation just like heterosexual rams do. Same-sex behavior is extremely common across species. Penguins, bonobos, which are monkeys, dolphins, lions, giraffes, bighorn sheep, they are all they all have people in their world who are gay is what I'm trying to say.
I
But
have to tell you, I always say this, but if I would have died yesterday, I would have to leave this world without knowing this information.
I was
I,
taken away.
I have no problem with it. I have zero problem with it. I never thought of it. I was never concerned about it. I wasn't preoccupied with it. Now I learned something more about the world. But in the meantime, going back to the Angus sheep, I find it very depressing.
Space Coast goes, I wonder what Joel's algorithm is feeding him after looking up gay sheep. I'll let you know. Spacey. Space, you ready for baseball on Friday? Carm, here's the first question. I guess people are disinterested in this already, but look at this. I'll tell you something. Our viewership jumped up by a few hundred on the gay sheep topic. Carm, how would you recommend coping with childlessness? Great. That's a heavy question, but I like it.
Well, wait a minute. I don't understand the question. Do you have to cope because society pressures you, or you feel horrible because you don't have a child? I don't know. From the way you ask the question, it's not 100% clear. Let's assume that you are saying that you yourself would like to have a child and you don't have one.
My dream, by the way, is for everyone who did not know about the gay sheep to go out today and say, I learned something on Surviving the Survivor. And when they ask you what it is, you explain. I will be overjoyed by that. And please, as Carol says, hit the like
button. You asked a very serious question.
Yeah, childlessness. Yeah.
And
so, I mean, what the person, I think they don't have children or maybe couldn't have children. What is your sentiment to them about that? It's difficult, obviously.
Well, it's not clear to me if this is something that she wanted and couldn't have, or is it something that let's say her mother bugs her about, or society puts pressure on her, or somebody outside of her, or if she's pressuring herself. I think in the book, and I do this very, very rarely, I speak about having children, and and I feel strongly if you really want children and you cannot have them, you have to try foster care or adoption. You have to look at alternatives. I see some people, honestly, I see that they are very, some of their psychological needs are met by let's say becoming teachers or taking care of children in general. It depends on, the worst thing is to do nothing and feel rotten. That's unacceptable. You either work it out with some compensation of some sort, or you make a change about it, or you make a decision about it. Let's be very practical. Now that I look back to 86 years, the child rearing part of one's life is relatively short. Like children are with you maybe 18 years, maybe 20 years to raise. Afterwards, you are a family, but you are not involved in making sure that they brush their teeth type of an activity. So sometimes hormonally you want to have children at a certain age, and then after that, when you get into a different age, that desire subsides. But I'm biased, so don't listen to me.
By the way, I think there's a misnomer out there, misunderstanding.
No children adopt some homeless gay sheep.
And so someone said, by the way, you can adopt one of these gay sheep on the website. So they're out there for you to adopt. I think it's beautiful.
But what, before this, they would kill them?
Yeah, they would slaughter them because they're not reproducing. And that's what they do in this sick world that we live in.
That is very sick.
Well, that's one thing I could never do is be an animal slaughterer. I don't know how you can do that.
I don't even know how we eat beef after they show that. And did anybody see this advertising on TV for the Angus
beef?
Beef. No. It's so depressing. First they show these magnificent animals, then they show you a bloody steak. Anybody?
I have kids, and I tend to agree with Catherine. I'll get there in a minute, but Izzy Wong, I love that name. In my 70s and childless, I love kids, but parenthood isn't for me. It's not for everybody. And look here, having your own children can be an ego trip for some. I was adopted, and I appreciate that. However, I chose not to have children. Dogs are better. I tend to agree with you. I was leaving soccer practice with my 6-year-old, and I was like, I don't understand how you hang out with these kids. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, they're the most annoying humans on earth, these 6-year-olds. He just looked at me, had no idea what I was talking about. But I'm like, they're unbelievably annoying. And he just
but it's very cute. If you see two 6-year-olds, they are very heavy in conversation and they talk to each other incessantly, and you don't know what they're talking about.
Here's another great question. But what I wanted to say when I was cut off for the 400th time is the book, again, that I wrote about Carmel is very important to me, which is why I bring it up every 5 seconds. But it is not really Carm's Holocaust story. And I'm not blowing smoke up her ass. But Carm is one of the smartest. And I'm talking about EQ, not IQ, but she has a very high IQ too. But Carm understands people better than anyone I know. And the book covers these subjects like how important are children, how important are finances. And it's all of Carm's take. And right there's the QR code if you want it. And I was listening, Carm, because when I was at your house this week, you had the Audible playing. I would never listen myself. Carm from Misdemeanor OG. A couple more of these, couple more stories, and then we'll wrap it up. How do I break up with my therapist after 20 years? Not feeling it anymore. And by the way, are you available?
Well, thanks for the voice of confidence, but I am retired and I am not available. And the way you break up with your therapist, you tell him, even if it's not true, you did he or she, you did a good job, and now I'm going to fly on my own.
Carm, when I don't think this happened.
Just do it, like my husband said. Just do it.
And Carm, when people would tell you that they're done with you when you were a therapist, would it impact you emotionally? Would you feel
something to you? This is a very weird profession. Think about it. People come to you, they are really broken up, they're upset, they are anxious, they are this and that. And the minute they start to feel better, they disappear. You know? It's like, oh my God, what did I do wrong now? You know, that they just walk away. They don't you serve the purpose and goodbye. We don't need you. And it's totally logical.
Carm, it's very weird. Your parents are both therapists, and you find out like 25 years later that they were working with your friend's parents. And now this woman was not one of my friend's parents, but they would occasionally share stories after the fact. But one woman, apparently her issue, Carm, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll just use her initials, JB. She was a compulsive nose picker. Is that correct?
Oh my God! But you
is that correct?
You are like a little boy who will never grow up. All the gross things you can find.
Did she do that in the office while she was talking to you about it?
No.
I literally would have thrown her out.
She nose so compulsively that you know how there is a cartilage dividing two parts of the two parts
septum,
of the
septum. Yeah. Would anything ever slip into her?
Joel.
Would she ever slip into her?
But she had other issues, so many other issues that
Would the finger ever slip into her mouth after the pick?
Joel, let me say something to you. Do me a favor.
On to the last story. Avi Loeb. He's a friend of ours, Carm. He wrote a blurb for my book.
Yes, yes.
He's a Harvard
astro. Friend of ours. We interviewed him.
Yeah, I consider him a friend, a lifelong friend.
Lifelong.
He's a Harvard astrophysicist, and now he's publicly criticizing NASA for what he describes as deceptive images of the interstellar object 3I Atlas. He's claiming that the photos are too fuzzy to rule out an artificial origin. NASA maintains that the object is a comet. NASA says it looks and behaves like a comet, but Avi Loeb argues that several anomalies, including mass, trajectory, jet emissions, remain unexplained and warrant an open-minded review. Essentially, he's saying this thing that is a comet could, in fact, be an alien spacecraft. Now, I don't know if this is the original, because he said this before. I don't know if this is the same entity or a new one, but he is arguing. Oh, look at this. Look at Badger. Why does Joel treat his mother like she's an idiot? He passes it off as sarcasm, but it is just rude. You're right, Badger. Carm?
I didn't rush to your defense. I think you're okay.
Carm, is Avi Loeb just smart and he knows what's going to get a rise out of people?
To think, speaking of psychology, I'm beginning to think that Avi Loeb has a psychological issue. He does.
Why do you say that?
Because he almost like he manages to be always in the headlines. He loves attention. I think he loves attention. I think he's smart. He has tenure. He's a full professor at in the physics department. It's boring because no space ships are arriving. So he makes up these stories and gets attention from it.
Thank you. Blackwoodor comes to my defense. Carm, I was surprised that there are not more questions. I'll talk to you for a minute. If anyone has a final question, now's the time. I'll scroll down here. Of all the stories from swastikas to gay sheep to Kevin Spacey, what stood out to you today?
To me?
Yeah, not including, of course, the main story, but
okay.
Yeah. Okay. What stood out to you? You didn't answer. Was it the gay sheep? Was it Kevin Spacey? Was it the air pressure in the intestine?
I think that Kevin Spacey is almost a variation on the same theme as the gay sheep, because his issue was also gay issues, right?
Interesting.
I don't know if you consciously did that.
I wonder if Kevin Spacey has adopted a gay sheep. We've come full circle. Thanks for that. Thanks for the comment about the hat. Yeah, I found this cool company that sells cool Yankee and Dodgers and other hats. The shirt is available on the YouTube merch store.
Little people ask of stories. What was one of the interesting things? Joel always loved T-shirts with things on them. Do you remember once for your birthday, I hung up a rope in the basement and hung up all
I remember that. You know who has 25 times more than me is my son.
Yeah, because you lied for him.
Carm, as we say goodbye here, one thing, the coffee is now.
I think that you were very sensationalistic with this, the sheep, but Spacey, I don't know.
Carm, shout out to Fly Girl. It's morning, either maybe in New Zealand or Australia. Karma, or maybe she's in LA. I don't know. Karma, have you ever helped folks in chronic pain?
No. And I also cannot walk on water. No, but I'm kidding. What I mean is that I'm not good at these miracle type of things. No, I cannot. The chronic pain, there are MDs who practice in it, and I personally experience pain in my back, not in the back, on my right side on the hip, and I exercise, and the pain goes away. As a matter of fact, I worked out yesterday and I had no pain. And I said, "What happened to my pain?"
Joel is Carm's
But
chronic
I
pain.
don't know anything about pain.
Carm, how many times did I ask you if I have a real job and we were together on Wednesday?
I think that it is very sad. That you have OCD, definitely, and I probably caused it with my personality. I'm going. I am. What is the term? Getting out of the closet and admitting it, that I probably caused part of it.
Carm, we're basically wrapping up here. Let me ask you this. So again, the Miami Book Fair Sunday. Carm and I will be there at 12:30, the Wolfson campus of Miami-Dade Community College. If you're in this area, Carm, when I say to you,
We have a good news for you. Wait a minute.
That's interruption 25 or 7. I don't know. I've lost count. Go ahead.
236. I counted. I forgot to tell you that we made a conscious decision. We are not talking about
your Holocaust,
because it's already coming out through everybody's nose. We are going to talk about our podcast, and we will take questions from the audience. Are we going to videotape it, Joel?
I think they might.
What about Ileana?
Yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to Josh Shapiro's book signings, and I'm going to make him sweat a little bit and see what. Carm's worried that they're going to put a hit out on me. That's how paranoid she is. But she grew up in communist Yugoslavia. Carm, let me just. I would like to know the psychology. I am writing a new book called "Surviving the Psychiatrist." It's my dad's take on life advice. The first book was my mother. My father had an interesting take, and Carm and I are working on it together. The last time I wrote a book, the power washer was there. This time, the plumber. It sounded like the plumber was trying to remove like a whale from the drain that had gotten in from the ocean. Like the amount of noise that was going on in Carm's apartment.
Whenever Joel is there is somebody working on the terrace and hammering away, or one of the very close apartments are hammering away. And this time it was the plumber hammering away.
I mean, the amount of noise this guy was. I was waiting for him to pull like a what do you call well, I don't know the names of these whales, but it was like so much noise coming from this.
May I spend just 1 minute wishing everybody a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you will all find a lot to be thankful for. I do have a lot to be thankful for.
I have final question. So
we're going to New Jersey to visit my great-grandchildren.
Have a wonderful time, Carm. And Carm, I just want to know psychologically, we're invited. This is the second largest book fair. We got invited. Not only were we invited to the book fair, but we get invited to a dinner and then a reception tomorrow. And the minute I invited you, I said, Carm, do you want to go to dinner? No, you're literally retired. You always tell me you don't have that many friends in the building, especially this time of year. You have none. Why the impulse? Why so quick to say no about dinner and then about this reception?
You want me to tell you why I said no?
Yeah.
Because now we have Friday, we have the podcast. I am having dinner with my neighbor tonight. Tomorrow I could relax. Sunday we have the book fair, and Monday I'm leaving. And I feel that at this age I cannot have more than 1 to 2 activities, and I cannot knock myself out. So I have limited energy. So my first thought is I'm stressed about the travel.
Look at this comment hitting home. And I was just going to get to this. Carm, you just made me cry. I remind my son every single day to be thankful for what he has, not whine about what he doesn't. I guess the implication is that I whine. hard sometimes, but he does it. Carm, Thanksgiving is coming up. I have a few more shows, so I will reveal what I'm thankful for next week. But what are you thankful for? Take us out of here, Carmen. Try to do it in under a minute or so.
Now this will be this is what I thought of first. I am now talking to STS, the family, and I am thankful for you guys because you give me so much positive feedback that it's hard to believe, and I secretly, honestly don't believe I deserve more than maybe 20% of it. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for Florida and the sunshine. I am thankful for so many things that I'm very thankful for having so many things to be thankful about.
If I surprised you with a puppy for Thanksgiving,
I would probably feed it poison. No, I'm kidding.
You don't want one, though, is what you're saying.
No, thank you. I plan to travel and so forth, and I don't want to have the responsibility. The latest AARP magazine, the headline of the article is "Living Alone," and it gives you the statistics, how many people at my age or younger, even in the 60s, live alone, and amazingly enough, most people like it. According to their statistics, you can find it in the AARP magazine. I can show it to you.
Carm, did you work out today?
No.
Yeah, I was going to go to the gym right now. I'm losing steam, and I'm really upset about it because I really want to get there. But we love you all. Carm and I love each other, contrary to popular belief. Anna Kepner deserves justice. Sounds like her family's got some issues that they've got to deal with. I hope they get the help that they need. Carm, have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you tomorrow night at this reception. And then Sunday, you and I are going to discuss you being the oldest true crime podcaster in America. Personally, I don't think you get enough credit. I feel like we should have 17. We should have more subs than Mr. Beast. I'm just about to get worked up. I'm not going to get worked up. Anyway, share the show with a friend. Love you, America. Love you, Carm. Love you, STS Nation. And be grateful for the small things, and happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back Monday and Tuesday. I was going to take Tuesday off. The COE, nope, you're going to do a show. So I'm doing a show. And then we will have shows for you while we're away. So you're not going to miss a beat. And again, Brian and Anna Walsh, that crazy story and his trial 1 week from Monday. Love you all. Be kind to the turkeys. Maybe have a vegan meal.